Well, hello there everybody. I am just showing you the block I'm going to be working on. This is Bradie here from Sparrow Quilt Company, and this is the little block I am about to make with my handy dandy guidelines for quilting rulers. So I have removed the finger guard from the guidelines ruler, and I am going to put on one of my seam allowance add-ons. So these are the finished sized quilting add-ons, and what they do is provide the seam allowance for us. So in the block I just showed you, you can see that there's 3 columns. I want to make a block that's 12 inches finished. So each column has to be 4 inches finished because we've got 3 separate columns. So I have set my little slider on my guidelines ruler at the 4-inch mark. Now I'm going to add the seam allowance for a quarter square triangle. Now if you didn't know, the seam allowance for a quarter square triangle is 1.207, which is a really awkward measurement, and there's no way to just add it with your typical quilting ruler. So that's where the benefit of these rulers comes in. We can add that 1.207 with this, and we're still just lined up with the 4 on our ruler. I'm just going to put a little bit of moisture on those little silicone suction cups, and I just turned those little black levers to lock it in place. We'll push down on the suction cups, and now that seam allowance ruler has been added to my guidelines ruler. And I knew it was my quarter square triangle because it's got the little Q at the top. That's what gave that away. So now I've got my fabric all laid out. I'm going to line up the 4-inch marking with the raw edge of my fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and make that cut here. So now what I'm going to do is turn this sideways, and I'll trim off the selvage first, and then I'm going to cut a square next. And again, I'm just going to line up with the 4 on the raw edge of the fabric. This adds my seam allowance. And then I just take that square and I cut it twice on the diagonal, and that will give me the quarter square triangles that I need for the center of that block we showed you at the beginning. So I'm just going to cut from point to point. I'm going to try not to disturb that. Turn it to the horizontal and cut again. Got to be careful not to move things around too much. There we go. All right, so I did 2 layers of fabric there. I've got 8 little quarter square triangles. Now I'm going to cut my contrasting color in this nice dark pink. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did. So I've left the same seam allowance ruler on there, and I'm going to cut at the 4-inch marking again. The seam allowance is added by the add-on. Turn it sideways and get rid of that selvage. And then we can cut our square. That's trash. One more cut. And then this one again will cut into 4 on the diagonal, just like the light pink. Line that ruler up point to point. Make that cut. Let's push those back together. And then we'll go on the horizontal. All right, so now I've got all my quarter square triangles for my center of my block. What I need to do now is cut these other little outer points of this little pinwheel star. So now I'm going to cut half square triangles. I'm going to take that same strip that I was just using. This time I'm going to take off the quarter square add-on and I'm going to add the half square add-on. That little suction is really attached. So this ruler has the H at the top. That means it's the half square triangle. Pop that on there. Just turn my levers so that it locks in place and push my suction cups on. There we go. I'm still leaving this at 4 because we want everything based off the 4. We know that's how wide our each column of the block is going to be. Sorry, it escaped my brain there for a minute. So now I'm going to just make this strip a little more narrow. And again, we'll open it up. For half square triangles, I just need 1. At least 1 square worth. So now I'm cutting my square and then I'm going to cut it in half on the diagonal. I'm going to go this way because it's behaving a little better. That corner needs to be pressed. Okay, corner to corner. And now I've got another stack of triangles that are going to be my star points. Let's do that again with the light pink. Thank you, Elle. 2. I actually need 3 of those in total. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to cut 1 more. Better do it now so I don't have to come back to it. I'm doing the dark pink in the outer corners as well. Again, we'll turn it so we can cut it point to point, corner to corner, on the diagonal at least. So you can see I have now got the block all laid out. I also cut my background fabric in white using the half square triangle cutting technique that I used on the larger triangles. Now I'm going to piece this all together and I'll be back in just a moment to show you the finished block. All right, so we're back. I've got this block all put together, so I thought I would show it to you quickly. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. The best part of all, of course, like I was mentioning earlier, is that I did not have to trim any of those half square triangle units. They were the perfect size when I went to sew them together, as well as the quarter square and the circle in the center. So it all just went together beautifully, and there was no extra work of trimming involved. Now, don't forget that next Wednesday, July 18th, we'll be starting this mystery sampler quilt along, and we'll be using these finished size quilting rulers to do all the blocks. So tune in with us 10:30 a.m. next July the 18th, and we will be doing some live videos and showing you all the different blocks that we can make with these really great rulers. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you really soon. Bye for now.